I'll call the meeting to order. This is the East Lyme Board of Selectmen meeting, the regular meeting of January 20th, 2001 via Zoom. And the meeting is called to order. Are there any additional agenda or consent items?
This is Kevin Siri. I'll move to add agenda under 2A, appointment resignations, appointment to the Brookside Farm Museum, and item 7A for discussion and possible action on the unaffiliated employees benefits package.
We have a motion to add 2 items to our agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. I heard Mark Salerno first. All in favor? Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it. Delegations. Would anyone like to speak to the Board of Selectmen this evening on items that that they would like to speak to the Board of Selectmen on? There are some. Todd, you come up later in the agenda, and I think you as well, Denise. That actually covers maybe most of the people here. But would anyone like to speak on general items? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting of December 16th.
This is Kevin Siri. I'll move to approve the regular meeting minutes of December 16th, 2020 as submitted.
Second, Paul Daigle.
Motion's been made and it has been seconded. Any comments or corrections? Uh-oh. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Here we go. I'm trying to get rid of the headphones. Great. So all in favor of the regular meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, we'll move on to the next special meeting.
Kevin Siri. I'll move to approve the special meeting minutes of December 29th, 2020 as submitted.
Second.
Second.
Motion seconded by Mrs. Hardy. Any comments or corrections? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Are there any abstentions? The
Abstain.
ayes have it. Oh, and we have 1 abstention. Was that Paul?
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
Mr. Daigle? Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Consent calendar, Mr. Siri?
Yes, I'll move to approve the consent calendar for the meeting of January 20, 2021 in the amount of $2,747.40.
Second.
Motion's been made. It's been seconded. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Or any abstentions? Terrific. We've gone through the first part of the meeting. We'll go moving right into the second, the new business part of the meeting, the special appropriation of the STEEP grant for the transfer station. Mr. Shear is here tonight. Is that right? Bill Shear?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. There you are. You look very comfortable on your couch.
Yes, very comfortable.
Good. Don't go back any further. You might nod off. All right, Mr. Shear, you've put together this grant for the transfer station. We're looking for an upgrade using state funding, and why don't you lead us through the presentation?
Yep, I'm getting there. You guys went way faster than I thought.
That's a good thing, right?
Yes, very good thing. So, can I share my screen or?
Yeah, I think you can. Try to share it. I think I have it set up that anybody can share it one at a time. Yeah, there you go.
All right, you guys can see that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, basically our scale house and our scale are extremely old, and it doesn't have plumbing. We don't have bathrooms. The air conditioning is very poor. Go to the next sheet. Our scale has actually suffered 2 collapses in the last year. It's reinforced concrete, so the collapses are slow. There's no real danger. so we can see them when they're happening. But obviously this needs to be fixed. This is the inside of the building. It's, as you can see, it's very old. It's very poor. So basically we need a new scale house and a new scale. And these are schematic or preliminary plans to a new scale in almost the same location. And then we're proposing to put a building, a much more ergonomically designed building, so that the guys can stay in the building and interact with the people through a window. They'll have a bathroom, a break area, and they'll have windows all around so that they can see the actions of the transfer station all around them. So that's basically it. This is our rough budget. Currently, we're in final design and preparing bid specs. So, you know, these are schematic and we're finalizing the details. But we did get a steep grant for $128,205, and we're going to use all that money. As part of that grant, we were required to put a town match in. So we're using $20,000 from Public Works. And we are also, which has previously been appropriated, have some LoSiP money, which we'll use, and whatever's left over, we will not use and use that for a different LoSiP project. So the first action that needs to be taken is a special appropriation for the steep grant needs to be done. And after that, assuming you approve it, we have to do a resolution so that Mark can sign documents and we can execute contracts. And I'm here to answer any questions anybody has.
That's great. I'm sure there'll be some questions. Would anyone like to speak up and ask a question?
Yes, I'll go first.
Yes, ma'am.
Will all of this work be done by outside contractors?
Yes.
Okay, so so the work will all go out to bid.
Yes, I mean, there's a chance we may do a little bit, like if there's concrete laying around, we'll move it out of the way, but the vast majority will all be outside contractors.
Okay. Considering the current status of security issues, I'm a little bit concerned about the glass all the way around, and whether or not that at this present time is something that's wise.
We've actually thought about that, and they do make much stronger hurricane glass windows. I'm looking at them now as during final design. We're also planning to put security cameras all around the building, so they'll have, and I'm hoping to get them beamed to dispatch live. So we have thought of that, and I do appreciate the comment, and we're going to take that into consideration. But one of the big things is they do need visibility up there. So, you know, it's a delicate balance between not getting the windows broken and them doing their job to the best of their ability.
Okay. Any possibility of use of solar panels?
Not at this time. No, we really haven't thought about that.
But I assume there will be obviously there will be electricity. So, all right.
Yes.
Okay. Those are those are just my questions. So I'm all set.
No, the solar panels is a good thought because we are in final design, so I still have time to think about that. So thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for your work so far.
Thank you.
You're muted, Mark.
Mark, you're muted.
I got it. It's a small footprint, so we'd have to figure out whether it's worth putting the solar panels on there. But good point. I see Mr. Daigle with his hand up.
Bill, a couple questions. I didn't see any design cost in the estimate.
That's because we're doing it all.
Okay, and the estimate is based on, is there any contingency in the estimate? I know you have to go out to bid. What's your level of confidence that you're going to have enough room there?
There is a 10% contingency in the estimate, and the estimates are actually relatively high to begin with, so I'm very confident that we have enough money to complete the project.
Okay, and another consideration for the windows, you know, is bars or mesh screening like the current one has, I believe has on one of their windows, just so people can't break in and get in and take the computer or any other services that might be inside, if you can't come up with a strong enough window design to prevent vandalism.
No, that's a good idea too. Thank you very much.
All I had. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Daigle. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question.
Hi, Jim.
Hi. So, is it going to be located in the same footprint where it is now, or is it going to be somewhere else?
It's gonna be located approximately where it is now. The scale, current plans right now is to have the scale get a little bit longer and a little bit wider and slide towards the entrance of the transfer station. And the building will also slide a little bit towards the entrance of the transfer station. You know, we're just talking 10, 15 feet at the most.
Yeah. My concern is, while they're building it and tearing the other one apart, is there thought going to man traffic in and out of the transfer station?
We
So
were
they can still
discussing
weigh,
that-
vehicles coming in.
We were discussing that this morning. One of the concepts that we have is to build the scale and come up with a temporary method of charging people without a scale and not doing the building at the same time. Or there's a bunch of different, we've thought of that and we don't have the exact solution yet, but we're definitely thinking about it.
Okay, I know that, the weigh station for the DOT, they do have portable scales they can put under the wheel of a vehicle. Maybe we can get some of those on loan for the interim. Just a thought, might be a solution.
No, that is an option. And we're right now, we're looking at a precast deck, which would be just brought in and set in place. But, you still need concrete work around the edge. So we are trying to narrow the window down as much as possible. But those are all good points. Thank you.
Sure.
Moving it further to the entrance could afford you the opportunity to build it in parallel with keeping the existing one operating. I just don't know if you have enough room.
It is very tight. Actually, the building that's there is, I believe it's portable. We could actually grab it and drag it and move it if we had to.
Points. Any other questions?
Hey, Bill, I have a couple questions. Do you have a furniture budget?
Um,
I don't know if I missed it.
it's in there somewhere. It may just not say it.
Okay.
Obviously, we're going to make do with what we have. So it's a very small building. So the furniture
Okay.
would not be that much.
Is it being built so that the employee doesn't have to leave the building every, like how is someone going to pay if there's looks like you have a drive-up window? Does an employee have to go out like he does now, or is it reach over like a ATM?
The goal is to not have them leave the building, but we're setting it up so that they can leave the building if they want to, because a lot of times people will pull up in a pickup truck and the guy wants to get out and look in the back to make sure that what they're saying is in the truck is actually representative of what's in the truck.
Yep. Okay. So it's being built for that. And when do you, if this is approved, when do you plan on starting?
We hope to be starting this spring and getting it, as soon as the season starts.
How long do you think it's going to take?
I believe the scale will take 4 weeks and the building, I'm not sure, 3 weeks maybe.
Okay, and I think you said this, so you anticipate this is going to be able to be done without shutting the transfer station down, right?
Yes, we do not plan on shutting the transfer station. We've been so busy lately, I don't even think that's an option.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Terrific. Any other questions?
Bill, just one thing to consider, another landfill that I visit is the actual driver gets out of the vehicle to approach the window to make the payment, while he's having the attendant have to leave the building. Depending on how close the building and the window is to the driver, it could be a tough reach, or you could end up getting people's mirrors hitting the building as they try and get close. So just something to consider.
No, those are very good points. We actually went to Waterford yesterday where their building is 6 inches from the edge of the scale, and they frequently get brush and other things scraping the side of the building. And they used to have a light on the side of the building that's no longer there, and the gutters are no longer there. So we're using them as an example of, things we're going to design the side of the building so it can handle the impacts if they happen.
Sure. Good points.
Yeah, and
Did you have a date as to when you plan to initiate this?
No, we don't. We're still, I'm still in the appropriation, the permitting and the design phase. So,
Hmm.
and the way we do things, we don't do it until we know we're correct in what we're doing. So,
Right.
Any other questions?
I will, this is Kevin Siri, I'll move to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $128,000, $128,205, a steep grant award to CNRE Fund 32 to an account to be established titled Improvements to the East Lyme Transfer Station, which will include a new vehicle scale, new scale house, and all associated work. This grant is to supplement approved use of LoCIP funds, $102,000, and a required town match of funds in the amount of $20,000. Public Works Department, 317, and forward to the Board of Finance for approval. This resolution is passed under the guidance of Executive Order 7S with no town meeting and being less than 10% of the current budget.
Second, Mark Salerno.
Mr. Salerno seconds that motion. Any other comments? Well, Bill, thank you for all the work you put in on this. This has been on the radar for quite a while, and the awarding of the steep grant gave us the opportunity, opened the door to be able to get this done. It's sorely needed up there, and we have a good, dedicated group up there that work on behalf of the town and our citizens, and it'd be good to give them a decent place to work out of. Thank you, Bill. And
thank you. And the next item is something that needs to be read, and it's very long and painful. So,
well, we'll get to this one first. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Okay, we'll move on. Yeah, this next one does require one of those big, long meetings, right? So.
Okay, this is Kevin Siri. Resolved that Mark Nickerson, first selectman of the town of East Lyme, be and hereby is authorized to execute on behalf of this municipal corporation a grant agreement with the state of Connecticut for financial assistance to complete the improvements to the East Lyme transfer station, including a vehicle scale and scale house in Niantic, East Lyme, steep FY 2021. In addition, that Mark Nickerson, first selectman of the town of East Lyme, is hereby authorized to enter into such agreements, contracts, and execute all documents necessary to said grant with the state of Connecticut. It is further certified that Mark Nickerson, first selectman of the town of East Lyme, was elected first selectman. His term of office began on December 2nd, 2019, and will continue to December 6th, 2021. As the East Lyme first selectman, Mark Nickerson serves as the chief executive officer for the town of East Lyme, and on January 20, 2021, Mark Nickerson, first selectman of the town of East Lyme, had both the authority and the office to sign on behalf of the town of East Lyme a grant agreement for financial assistance to complete the improvements to the East Lyme transfer station, including a vehicle scale and scale house in Niantic, East Lyme, steep FY 2021 grant. That's
And
all I
that's your
have.
motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Salerno will second.
Mr. Salerno seconds. Are there any comments or suggestions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, thank you, Kevin, for reading that. Bill, again, thank you for putting that all together. Well
thank you
done.
very much.
Next on our agenda is the discussion and possible action of accepting a donation of 8 acres plus or minus up near the Girl Scout camp that wasn't part of the conveyance, the purchase earlier this year. There was a portion of this land that the Girl Scout camp donated back to the town. A bit of a gift. So, Mrs. Collins, you've been working on this a little bit, and you're there with Ed. Do you want to walk us through any detail we might need to hear, and then we can ask some questions?
So you have the map in your packages, and you can see the outline of the property. It's shaded. And there's access that runs along Upper Patagonia Road. There's 3 points of access to this property. There's one over to the left, 25 feet. Then there's a wider portion which fronts Upper Pat, and then there's also a path that leads next to Mr. Dravick's property. Most of the area more to the east is cliffs and rock-like, and it's 8.52 acres. We have performed a title search on the property, and it is good title would transfer to the town, and it has to remain open space land in perpetuity.
And the reason for that is it was donated to the Girl Scouts with the very same restriction.
Yes, and the piece that Mr. Dravick purchased does not have that restriction.
Right, right. Are there any questions? A lot of work went into bringing this to you this evening, much more than the minute that Tracy took to explain it. But we're confident it's a good title. We think it's great to have open space, and we want to hear from you. Are there any objections or any concerns? Any questions for Attorney Collins?
Okay, this is Kevin Siri. Whereas the Girl Scouts of Connecticut Incorporated is the owner of 8.52 plus or minus acres of the land on Upper Patagonia Road in the town of East Lyme, more particularly described in Schedule A attached hereto, and whereas said land is subject to a permanent restriction that the premises shall be preserved in perpetuity as open space land, and whereas the Girl Scouts of Connecticut Incorporated desires to donate said land to the town of East Lyme, now therefore it is resolved that subject to the approval of the Board of Finance and the Planning Commission 8-24 review, the Board of Selectmen hereby approves the donation of said land and authorizes the first selectman to accept a deed from the Girl Scouts of Connecticut Incorporated and receive, execute, and deliver such other documents as may be necessary to complete said transaction.
Second.
Second?
Was that Mr. Salerno?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other comments or concerns?
Mark, just thanks for, getting the point to where we do have some property up there around the lake that will nicely be preserved for a long time, so forever.
Yeah, the town extends its gratitude formally to the Girl Scouts of America for being so generous in donating this land. It's much appreciated, and they understand a small town like us having the quest to obtain open space. So we do appreciate it.
Mark, great opportunity, and my thanks as well to the Girl Scouts. Does the town have any preliminary plans for public access to this property, or do we plan on just leaving it as it is?
I think open space at this point, there's no plans for any passive anything. If I think there is some open space behind there. There's some open space that we've talked about as a commission. In some time, we might be able to connect some spaces together, and then you're talking about a sizable piece where we might be able to put some walking trails. For right now, there's no plans. We'll just leave it natural.
No plans for parking or anything like that. It's going to
No.
stay natural.
No, we'll see.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Ayes have it with a unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Whew. Well, next on our agenda are the appointments and resignations that have been piling up, and there's one in particular that is in your packet, but I'm going to read it, I suppose. This is addressed to Karen Galbo, the East Lyme Town Clerk, and it reads, resignation. Dear Ms. Galbo, this is to inform you of my resignation from the office of the Town Attorney for the Town of East Lyme, effective on the date that the Board of Selectmen accepts my resignation. It has been my honor and privilege to represent the town in legal matters and provide advice to its boards and commissions for the past 45 years, beginning in 1975. During that time, I served as assistant town attorney under Robert Marion, and then as town attorney. I served during the terms of 9 different first selectmen, both Republican and Democrat, and can attest that in my dealings with them, each and every one had the best interests of the town in the forefront of their consideration. It was my great pleasure to work with them. Very truly yours, Edward B. O'Connell. With regret, we'll accept your resignation, Mr. O'Connell. Your service to the community is well, it's unspeakable. It's beyond words, and maybe unspeakable is a negative connotation. So it's beyond words, Ed. And I want you to be able to maybe address us this evening. That's not normally the case when someone resigns, but 45 years with 9 first selectmen and 1 interim first select woman. She's here tonight. Mrs. Hardy served our town in that capacity, and we shall not forget that. I have a great connection, before I let you speak, I have a great connection to Mr. Dennis Murphy, First Selectman Dennis Murphy, as he put you in the driver's seat here. And between Mr. Murphy and, well, November 71 to December 77, he served. And he was, well, he must have been a really smart guy. He must have been a really smart guy. I never had the pleasure to meet him, but he put you in this driver's seat here. And after Dennis came George Seebeck and Richard Luigi, and Dennis Murphy again. He came back because he made such a good choice. And David Cheney, and Wayne Frazier, and Beth Hogan, Paul Formican. It's my honor to tie all those people together, to be on that list and say that I worked with you. You have served us with grace and with brilliance. Whenever I picked up the phone, whenever I had a question, and I'll say this all the way down the line, and that includes Mrs. Hardy, you were there and you guided us with confidence. And I thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart on behalf of this grateful town, these selectmen, and these first selectmen, former first selectmen. Thank you very much.
Well, I see even the muted people are clapping, so that's good. Thank you very much for those kind words, and you have to remember that I'm not going away. Ms. Collins and I have abutting offices here, and I'm sure that she sometimes will delegate me to go to meetings on her behalf, as I have oftentimes delegated her to go to meetings on my behalf. So you'll still see my ugly face once in a while, and I appreciate those kind words, and I'll take them with me to the grave.
I thank you. You're also very humble man. You've accomplished a lot, and you've really helped this town in so many different ways. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for your service. And of course, you're not going away. It's the title change that's necessary because of some reorganization in your practice, but also, you know, it's great that we have. You've been successful in bringing up people behind you who can take the mantle and you can guide them for many years to come. So thank you, Tracy. I'm hopeful that we can appoint you as the town attorney to finish off Ed's term, which I think expires in about a year, January of 2022. Ed, you've been wonderful. This isn't an appropriate send-off, and we're not sending you off because you're still going to work, and you're going to work for us, and I'm still going to call you. But I think when we can take the masks off and be together, and I think when we've all been vaccinated and we can be in that room, I think it'll be very, very appropriate to invite as many first selectmen back and people who have served with you, selectmen and otherwise, and get together for maybe a coffee and a donut. a cookie and a punch, or a beer and a pretzel, whatever you prefer. But we got to get together, and we got to do a formal proclamation, and we got to honor you as you so deserve.
Oh, that would be nice. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome.
In the meantime, Mark, I'd like to move that the East Lyme Board of Selectmen, on behalf of the town of East Lyme, recognize and thank Attorney Ed O'Connell for his over 4 decades of outstanding service to the town of East Lyme.
I second that.
Second?
Been seconded several times, and deservedly so. Any other comments?
I'd just like to echo what you said, Mark. Ed gave us, from zoning, many years of sound advice, won a lot of cases for us, gave us all great opinions, and thank you very much for all you've done.
Mark, I'd just like to add, there isn't a better true gentleman that I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with. So Ed, thank you.
And if I may as well, I've being a fellow lawyer, I've met most of the attorneys in New London County and throughout Connecticut, and Ed, you are a true gentleman and honorable, and I've always enjoyed any dealings I've had with you professionally, and thank you for the person that you are.
Thank all of you.
I would just like to add that Ed's the only one wearing a tie this evening.
So that's part of the profession.
He showed up to work, and that's his uniform.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it might be appropriate to say, "Blessed be the tie that binds."
Oh, please.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? I should say no. It unanimously passes. Ed, thanks again for your service to this town, and we will celebrate appropriately when this is all behind us. Bittersweet to accept that resignation this evening. There is an appointment for the attorney, Tracy Collins, to take the slot.
And I will move to, this is Kevin Siri, I'll move to appoint Tracy Collins, 7 Larchwood Lane, East Lyme, Connecticut, as the town attorney for the town of East Lyme, with a term to expire on January 3rd, 2022.
I'll second that.
Any comments?
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm honored.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? I'd like to congratulate my fellow Stonehill College alum as the new town attorney officially. Tracy's done so much work on behalf of the town for many, many years, and deserves this position and this honor. So thank you for your past service and your future commitment to our town.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. We thank you both for coming tonight too. I made the meeting very special. I'm going to say that the next on our agenda, the pension committee, West Hartford's loss is East Lyme's gain, and that happens a lot in our town. A lot of West Hartford people come down and do summer residence down here, etc. There's a lot of West Hartford people around town. Denise Hall moved to our town. She is from West Hartford. She's done a lot of work in West Hartford, and she had noticed there was a vacancy on the pension committee. The pension committee meets quarterly. It's usually filled with people from the industry or people with experience that can kind of look at a stock portfolio and pick out all the necessary things that go in a stock portfolio. You can tell I'm not one of those people, right? So Denise said, Mark, I want to serve the town and maybe someday something else. But right now, it'd be great to come in and fill that position on your pension so I can see how it works. I think in your packet, you have Denise Hall's a very short bio, and part of her background was sitting on the pension committee, I believe. Is that right, Denise?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I didn't serve on the pension committee, but as the minority leader of the town council, sat in on every pension committee meeting for 8 years. So
Great.
experience and my work background is financial, so,
That helps.
yep.
So you can look at those stock portfolio thingies. Great. So you have a background in finance, and you also, I think you were on the Hartford Town Council or the West Hartford Town Council. Great.
Yes, for 8 years, and also have attended the Government Finance Officer Association meetings for, 25 years through my work at Webster Bank. So worked a lot with municipalities and municipal finance in general.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Otherwise, Kevin, there is a motion.
Yes, Kevin, sir, I'll move to appoint Denise Hall, 23 West Lane, Niantic, Connecticut, to serve as a member on the pension committee for the town of East Lyme.
Second, Mark Salerno.
Motion and second. Any further comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Are there any abstain? Abstain. As you can see, Denise, we're a very friendly group here. Maybe West Hartford isn't this friendly, but we are here. There is one of our quarterly pension committee meetings tomorrow afternoon, and I know you've been made aware of that. So would you raise your right hand, and I'm going to swear you in. Yeah, we'll both stand. How's that? Do you solemnly swear to faithfully discharge, according to the law, the duties as a pension committee member for the town of East Lyme to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do.
Terrific. Congratulations, Denise. You are going to
Thank-
serve, you'll serve our town in about 19 hours or so. So
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to volunteering here at East Lyme.
Very nice. And welcome to our town, and thanks for stepping up. That's great. There's some other vacancies as a planning.
Yeah, there's, Sandy caught this one for oh, I'm sorry. I was going to do the one, we have one for housekeeping that I
Well, we'll
added.
do the planning commission first.
Yeah,
A
okay, do that.
resignation- We'll just acknowledge that. There's a
Yeah.
resignation on the planning commission by Mary Ann Salvatore. I believe she's moving out of town. And police commission resignation, Lisa Pellegrini, who I believe one of the newer members on that commission. The planning commission has 30 days to fill that slot, and I believe they're working to do that. The police commission is our responsibility as Board of Selectmen. So I am going to ask you all to maybe come up with a few names. This might be something where we don't advertise, but we go and solicit whether someone might be interested or not. I think it's in this day and age, is in the business of policing, it might be important to find some diversity for our board, and I say that cautiously because we want the best people to serve our commission, but we should also look for a good representation of our entire population, and I think that's very important. So I put that out to the selectmen. We're going to do this at our next meeting, is maybe accept a couple resumes and go through them. We can invite people in and talk. Police commission's an important commission, and it is something that we appoint. So I put that seed out there. I plant that seed that maybe we should be looking for some diversification. There are currently 6 members of the Board of Selectmen, Board of the Police Commission. We're looking to fill the vacancy for the 7th, and they're all male and they're all Caucasian. So I think it is time that we don't just put an ad out there and say whoever's interested, that we should be a little bit more proactive. And let's see what we come up with. Okay? And we'll do that at our next meeting. And Kevin, you caught that one that we added to the commission.
Yeah, Sandy pointed out that there was a gentleman, Robert Patterson, inadvertently not reappointed to the Brookside Farm Museum. So I will move to appoint Robert Patterson of 208 Grassy Hill Road, East Lyme, Connecticut, to serve as a member on the Brookside Farm Museum Commission for the town of East Lyme, with a term to expire on January 8, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion and seconded. Any further comments?
So he just wasn't reappointed by accident?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sandy
Oh.
brought that up. It was just basically, it was, a procedure. We just skipped, somehow or another, he didn't get reappointed.
We
So,
just missed it. And Bob's an
Okay.
active member, and
yeah.
Mhm.
good man.
Okay, I think I know why that happened.
Okay.
It was Roseanne's fault then.
Yep. Well, I know how it happened, so. I think, okay.
Well, we're glad to have him. Glad
Yeah.
to catch that. And with the year of in a pandemic, not a lot was going on over there anyway. I think that's why we caught it so late. But we have a motion for Bob Patterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? With the dozens and dozens of people, maybe 100 people that volunteer in our towns and boards and commissions, missing one isn't all that bad. We're pretty organized when it comes to that, Roseanne. So usually they remind us if we forget them. So we'll move on to communications ex officio reports. Mr. Salerno, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, just with planning, the POCD was formally adopted by the state OPM, so that's good news. The commission members of the POCD subcommittee are planning on doing a little tour to different commissions to let them know some of the stuff that was in the POCD that may impact them that they might want to look at. They also approved the 4-lot subdivision in Upper Kensington up in the north end of town. That's all.
Mr. Daigle, I'm just going in the order as it comes on my screen. I know they'll be different on yours. Mr. Daigle.
All right, I'll start off with the Harbour Management Shellfish Commission. They're going to explore some potential opportunities for some habitat restoration in the Patagonia estuary going forward. They also have created a subcommittee to go evaluate revisions to the Shellfish Management Plan, which is about 10 years old. Mark, they do have a question on, they believe it's just approved locally, but they'll probably want to have some town attorney take to look at that as that changes. So it won't happen overnight, but it shouldn't take as long as the Harbour Management Plan did. It's much smaller, and it'll only be presented to the Board of Selectmen, is basis their understanding. And they are anxiously awaiting any progress or discussion that you're planning to have with the first selectman of Waterford over the town boundary and the river. And they will be providing me some atlas maps to forward to you to help support that conversation.
Thank you. I have some on my desk right now.
Yes. Okay, for the building committee, they held a special meeting. Their regular meeting is scheduled for tomorrow evening, but they have approved a few contract changes. The biggest one being they discovered that the sheetrock on the corridor walls did not meet fire rating requirements. So the sheetrock the existing sheetrock needs to be removed and replaced with fire-rated sheetrock. That's about a $48,000, $500 change order, and that has been approved. Needs to be done to meet the requirements. There's also they approved to replace the bathroom fixtures based on the amount of staining that's taken place with the fixture sitting there. The contractor estimated that to clean and get them back into serviceable aesthetic condition would cost more than the $1,000 they priced out the change for new fixtures. So, and that includes the actual closets to the bathrooms as well and the toilets. So, very affordable change for that. The ceiling in the hallways where they have to replace the sheetrock because of the grading system for that ceiling is, attached to the sheetrock. It's going to get destroyed when it comes down. And they're also evaluating replacing the ceiling in several other areas. The original plan was to keep those ceiling tiles, but during removal and so on and so forth, and for some of the work they have to do above, they're looking at potentially replacing all the ceiling tiles on the first floor, which would be an increase of about $15,000. So that have further discussion on that tomorrow. They did receive a $4,000 credit from the contractor based on the fact that Mr. Cornelius is taking all the photographs to document the progress of work. So that was a good thing to bring into the town. And they're working on another small credit for the reuse of some of the dirt they excavated for the below slab work, which hasn't come in yet, but we may hear more about that tomorrow. So project is moving along very well. It's a little bit ahead of schedule per their last meeting. And like I said, we meet again tomorrow night to get further latest updates. Mr. Salerno, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I do not. You covered that very well.
Okay. Any questions? If not, that ends my report.
Thank you, Bill, Paul. Thank you, Mark, for both serving. Mrs. Hardy.
Okay. I don't have anything this evening.
Okay. All right. Mr. Cunningham.
Just with Waterford East Lyme Shellfish Commission, they're exploring other ways to make the permits available for people that want to purchase the clamming permits and the shellfishing permits. Trying to find making it easier in light of COVID and more restricted accessibility to town halls. We're trying to figure out a way to make it easier for people to make it available for them to buy the permits when the season is open. That's about it that I have.
Okay, Dan. And I guess that leaves Mr. Siri.
Okay, last night, Dan, Mark Salerno and I had a fire department organization subcommittee meeting. We reviewed the fire safety study, and there's 21 recommendations in that, and a lot of them wouldn't, apply to us. So we identified the 5 or 6 that we would look at. Then we also invited both chiefs, and they asked their deputies to join us as well to get their concerns for any challenges they had. I think it was a good discussion. We're going to reach out, and I know Mark and Dan are going to contact the chiefs and actually meet with them at the fire departments to get an idea of, sit down, be able to talk to them about their organization, and actually a good tour of the firehouses just to see what exactly is done, so they have a better understanding of what we're moving forward to. So that's where we stand right now. Moving on to Parks and Rec, they adopted at their last meeting the costs for the rental for this upcoming year for the tent and the pavilion, just a little bit of an increase. Hasn't gone up that much in the last few years, so it's still extremely affordable. They have talked in the past about wanting the town to turn over that piece of property up on Darrow's Pond area so that they have some plans to utilize that. There's a lot of interest and excitement over a possibility of not Frisbee golf, but basically something similar to that. It sounds very interesting, and it would be, I think, a great use of that location. Still maintaining a lot of open space up there for that, but they're going to come by and formally ask the town to turn that over to them. Also, finally, with them, they want to recognize Charlie Fennick, who passed away about a year ago. And right now, there's leaning towards possibly naming a field after him. The softball field, possibly at Vets, is one of the things under consideration. But since it's Vets Field, they're going to reach out to the veterans organizations to include them. That's pretty much it.
That's great, and that'd be a great honor. Thank you, Kevin, for bringing us up to speed. I just have a few comments. We're busy at the town hall creating the budget for next year. You'll get the budget at the end of next meeting, first meeting in February, so February 3rd, I believe that is. You'll receive the budget. Well, you won't, because we won't be together. So we'll introduce the budget, and we'll send instructions either that afternoon you can come by and pick it up, or afterwards you can come pick it up. And Anna will work together on figuring out how we're going to distribute those, because they're the big budget books, right? And you'll want to spend the following week or two kind of going over it. So what we want you also to do is bring your calendars to the next meeting, your schedulers, because we're going to need to put together some times to extend our meetings so that we can have department heads join us by Zoom and review their budgets, and also schedule the Board of Education to come and make a presentation. So if you would bring your schedulers or your calendar on your phone or however you do it to the next meeting, make sure you have it handy and carve some time out, because usually by mid-February we're busy working on our side of the budget. Okay. All right. I got word today that that Mrs. Peck passed away. Norm Peck's mom, Mr. Peck's wife. So our condolences, our sympathies go out to the Peck family during this difficult time. They're great members of our community. This being a rather lengthy meeting, I'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to the Board of Selectmen this evening? Anyone at all? Raise your hand, unmute yourself, speak up. And if not, we're going to, probably no selectman response. What we'll do now is go into executive session. So members, for purposes of real estate matters and personnel contracts, for the first part of this will be real estate matters. We're going to invite Todd Donovan to the meeting to discuss our request. And other than that, we're going to ask you all to depart as friends. Ed and Tracy, thanks for hanging out. I hope we didn't get billed for this whole hour.
Okay,
Excuse me.
Very good. Take care, folks.
okay, want me to make the motion first?
Yeah, sure.
This is Kevin, sir. I'll move to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing real estate matters and personnel. We don't want to say contracts because it's not a contract. But we'll say
Personnel matters.
benefits. Personnel benefits.
Personnel matters.
Okay, personnel matters.
Sure.
And who is invited to attend?
Oh, and to invite Todd Donovan
For which portion of the meeting?
for the real estate portion of the executive session.
Todd, you don't have anybody with you, correct? Just you.
Yeah, I have headphones in. My children are sleeping.
That's fine.
Yeah, I could leave for a
No,
while
I'm
if
asking you to
text me
stay,
come
but
back
you
in.
don't have anybody else with you on the call? Okay,
No.
I have to remove a few people.
I need a second and
I'll second.
thank you.
This will need to be done in two separate sections.
Yes.
Mr.
The
Donovan,
motion,
Mr. Donovan would only be entitled to
Right.
attend for
I
that
already said that,
portion.
Roseanne. Yeah, I specified
Okay.
that.
And
Alright,
it's still being recorded, Mark.
yeah.
So it has to until we vote.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Sandy, I'm going to have you bounce off.
We have to vote on coming out of
All in favor of coming out of executive session, say aye.
Aye.
We're in regular session. We've added something to the agenda. It's 9:30 at night. We're coming out of executive session to vote on the unaffiliated work agreement.
Okay, this is Kevin Siri. I'll move to approve the East Lyme unaffiliated group salary and benefits request portion of their agreement with the town for the 2021-2022 fiscal year.
Second.
Motion and second. I'd like to commend Mr. Siri and Mrs. Hardy for the great work in meeting with our great department heads to come up with this agreement. Thank you both for your work. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Thank you. It's a unanimous vote. We thank you. Thank the unaffiliated workers in our town who support us and work very hard for our citizens.
And Mark,
That being-
because I'm going to give this information to Sandy, you abstained on that? Or-
I abstained.
Okay.
Thank you. 501. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm sleepwalking here. I got up early this morning. Let's get a motion to adjourn and go to bed.
Kevin, sir, I move to adjourn the meeting at 9:31.
Second.
That wasn't a solicitation. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Any abstain? All right, let's go to bed.